What if I told you that some of the most beautiful clouds on Earth only appear in the coldest, darkest places, and they're secretly helping to destroy the ozone layer? Imagine standing in the freezing polar twilight long after the sun has set. The sky is a deep, inky blue, and the air is so cold it hurts to breathe. Then, high above, something magical begins to form. Wispy, iridescent clouds, shimmering with colors like an oil slick or a pearls in a glow. These are nacreous clouds, ethereal, rare, and so stunning they don't seem real. But they are. And behind their breathtaking beauty lies a chilling secret. These clouds are actively eating away at the Earth's protective ozone layer. To understand how something so beautiful can be so destructive, we first need to look at where and how these clouds are born. Nacreous clouds, also called polar stratospheric clouds, don't form where ordinary clouds do. Your average rain cloud lives in the troposphere, the layer of atmosphere closest to the ground. But nacreous clouds form much higher in the stratosphere, about 9 to 16 miles above the Earth's surface. At that altitude, the air is incredibly dry and thin. Under normal conditions, clouds can't form there at all. So what makes nacreous clouds possible? One thing: extreme cold. We're talking temperatures colder than -110 degrees Fahrenheit. That kind of cold is almost unheard of on the Earth's surface, but in the polar winter, high in the stratosphere, it happens. When the air gets that frigid, the tiny amount of water vapor present can freeze into superfine ice crystals. But that's only part of the recipe. These clouds also need nitric acid and sulfuric acid, traces of which drift up from human activity and volcanic eruptions. When these acids mix with water ice at extreme low temperatures, they create the tiny, perfectly shaped crystals that make nacreous clouds glow. Now, here's where things get really interesting and concerning. Because these clouds aren't just passive works of art. They're chemical factories. In the mid-1980s, scientists began noticing something strange. Every spring, a giant hole would open in the ozone layer over Antarctica. Ozone is our planet's natural sunscreen. It blocks harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Without it, life on Earth would be in serious danger. Researchers soon traced the problem to human-made chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, which were used in refrigerators, aerosol sprays, and air conditioners. But there was a missing piece. CFCs by themselves aren't especially reactive. So how were they destroying ozone so efficiently? The answer turned out to be hiding on the surface of nacreous cloud particles. Here's how it works. During the dark polar winter, CFCs drift up into the stratosphere. On their own, they're stable. But when they come into contact with the surface of a nacreous cloud ice crystal, something extraordinary happens. The crystal acts like a tiny chemical laboratory, providing a solid surface where the CFC molecules can react with each other. This process transforms the relatively harmless CFCs into highly reactive chlorine compounds. Then, when the first rays of sunlight return in the spring, that sunlight triggers these chlorine molecules. They break apart and attack ozone molecules, tearing them apart in a chain reaction. A single chlorine atom can destroy tens of thousands of ozone molecules before it's finally neutralized. And the more nacreous clouds there are, the more surfaces are available to accelerate this process. In other words, these beautiful pearl-like clouds were, and in some places, still are acting as catalysts for one of the biggest environmental threats humans have ever created. This discovery was a turning point. It helped explain why the ozone hole was so severe over the poles, and it led to the Montreal Protocol, an international treaty that phased out the production of CFCs. Since then, the ozone layer has slowly begun to heal. But nacreous clouds haven't gone away. In fact, some scientists believe they may be appearing more often as climate change alters atmospheric circulation, trapping cold air in the polar stratosphere for longer periods. So the next time you see a photo of these shimmering, otherworldly clouds, remember, you're not just looking at a rare meteorological wonder. You're looking at a visible reminder of how delicate our atmosphere is, and how human actions can trigger unexpected consequences in the most remote parts of our planet. These clouds teach us that beauty and danger can exist in the same place, and that understanding the hidden processes of our world is the first step toward protecting it. Have you ever seen nacreous clouds, or another rare weather phenomenon? Share your experience in the comments and subscribe to Nature Unlocked to uncover more of Earth's hidden wonders.